Welcome to the Ultimate Landscape CEO. Our guest today is Dennise Vidosh. She owns two companies, but really it's five burgeoning ideas and divisions in these two companies, all in the tree care and tree saving space. She owns Green Acres Tree Farm, which is a company that grows and sells trees and will also plant trees, and these are high-end trees. And they'll also sell other growers' trees. She also has started Retree, where she has replanted trees and created a marketplace for selling mature trees. Instead of someone cutting down their trees, they will sell them to Retree or through Retree, and someone else will buy them. And then Retree provides for the company to come and remove the tree and replant it. And then she also has developed an organization or an idea of helping commercial spaces treat their trees as assets that can be transplanted, sold, and then the space is replanted with young trees. And so to turn, your parking lot even into a sort of nursery within a cityscape. And so she'll say it much more clearly than I am here. And so she talks about how she got started first in the nursery, and then Retree, and then with her commercial tree revenue idea. She talks as well about profit sharing, which she instituted this year with the help of her brother, who's a client of mine and a very successful entrepreneur. And she talks about how that profit sharing has really galvanized her team around all their different divisions and has really created a unified front. And the work she's doing is really could change the world. And so and she's still early on in this journey, and you can hear the ideas bubbling up. And I think when you will look back on this in 5 years from now, you'll say you knew her when. This is a great story. Take a listen. Good morning, Dennise. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Happy to be here. How are you this morning?
Dennise Vidosh from Retree. You're located where in Michigan?
We are actually located in Pontiac, Michigan, where the Silver Dome used to be. The Detroit Lions used to play right next door.
Okay.
And then we have several other farm locations across Michigan and the country.
So explain to the audience what your business is. It's very unique.
So approximately 13 years ago, I bought the Green Acres Tree Farm, the supplier business from my father, Don Vidosh Sr. And that business grows and supplies unique mature trees to the wholesale market. From Michigan to the Midwest to the East Coast, we supply trees across the country. And then most recently, I developed a digital marketplace called Retree.
Retree.
So you can imagine what that means, in which property owners can now buy, sell, relocate, or donate their unique mature trees in this digital space. So we're connecting all the dots for these property owners to make a more responsible decision when it comes to a tree maybe outgrowing its location, or maybe in the way of new construction, which I think most of your audience can probably relate to on construction sites. I'm trying to make it much easier now for homeowners and contractors to be able to save these trees because we know how valuable they are. I grow trees on the Green Acres side, and I know how much value they hold. So I'm trying to preserve what is existing.
We have listeners in England, New Zealand, Australia. Can they Retree, or is this just for the U.S. or Canada?
So currently, we are providing this marketplace service for people in the United States. And more specifically in Michigan, where we have contractors to actually do the work. It's in beta form right now. We do have trees listed in 8 states at this time in the United States, but of course, my vision is to provide this opportunity on a global level, of course,
So
because
how
I
does
think
it
it's
work?
possible.
Do I say, hey, I have a tree for sale and I have to leave it where it is until someone buys it? Or tell us how that works.
Well, currently, yes. But I do believe that the more supply we have available on our marketplace, that's going to drive the demand. So that's going to pull contractors, architects, other homeowners to this marketplace to look for the tree, that they're seeking. But and so we've been able to make that connection many times, where the tree goes from point A to point B. So it goes from the seller to the buyer. But oftentimes, we do have situations where the tree needs to be moved right away. It's very last minute. And I do bring it to my nursery location for trees in Michigan. But I am trying to encourage the A to B or seller to buyer property move, because it's better for the tree. It's more beneficial for the tree not to go be held above ground and then go to its final location.
So do you have to buy the tree if you're the intermediary and pay for its move?
Yes. So the seller, we list, I can go through that process with you. Simply, the seller, much like in eBay, lists the tree. And then we qualify the tree through a series of questions. And then at that point, if the tree qualifies, so there's certain qualifications. Obviously, the tree needs to be free of disease. It needs to be in a certain size range, 30 feet or less, 14-inch caliper or less. It needs to be accessible. It also needs to be structurally sound, because we want to be stewards of the environment. We don't want to be moving trees that it's not responsible. And at that point, we actually appraise the tree. So because I am in the nursery business, I understand the market value of the tree at any time. So we provide that appraisal, and then the seller accepts or rejects that appraisal. If they accept the appraisal, they sign a listing agreement. Again, much like a digital marketplace like eBay.
Yeah.
We list the tree. And then at that point, it's available for sale for any buyer to come and look. And it's by location. You can filter by location, by tree species, by size, etc. So the buyer is actually paying for the appraised value of the tree, and then the services that it takes to move that tree. And that is provided by an independent contractor that's part of our network of certified contractors to do the work.
But they're the one, to move it, you were saying?
Yes.
And correct. So do you this is like real estate, so you just take a percentage?
So yes, of course, we do have to make some money. So we do take a percentage of the appraised value of the tree. Yeah. So the higher the value, obviously, the less the percentage. And the lower the value of the tree, the higher the percentage. Okay. So the scale is from 20% to 30% of the fee. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So this appraised value, this is interesting. So this appraised value is the value of it unmoved. So it's less than a value of a tree if you're going to drop it off on my property.
Yes. It doesn't include the services to move that tree.
Right. So it's the unrealized potential value. Well, whatever. Okay. That's interesting. So
we build this network of, in Michigan, we have a network now of independent contractors that we've actually trained through our Retree Academy to the processes and standards that we require to move these trees. We use the airspace technology. We use many, many different methods. It's whatever is the most responsible way to move that tree.
Yeah.
So we provide that lead. If that contractor does get the work to move that tree, we do retain a 10% lead fee, and then we do pay that contractor out.
I got contacted on LinkedIn by somebody in Uganda who's trying to plant 1 million trees. He was looking for money. I actually believe him. I don't think it was a scam, but there seems to be a lot of activity around the world regarding trees. I went to business school with a good guy from New York, and he started a nonprofit in Holland to plant 1 million trees. And he's got, he's getting support from different, just large scale organizations. Is there someone supporting you, or is there financial support out there to help you get this off the ground?
Well, I'd like to touch on those real quick on those 1 million tree planting initiatives, because I think oftentimes it's not the most responsible avenue. I believe that we need a combination of both. We need to preserve what's existing, because we can never catch up. Once a mature tree is cut down, you cannot plant enough small trees to catch up to the environmental benefits that mature tree provides. So it is a combination of both. But of course, I think that it is trending, like all these 1 million tree, let's plant 1 million trees, let's plant 1 million seedlings, but sometimes they're not native to that area. And then once you plant the 1 million trees, who takes care of them? And then how many of those actually live? So in our process, we're making sure that we're doing this in a very responsible way, but we also require that there is an aftercare program in place. In order to warranty that tree and the value of that tree, we require that, because otherwise that would be irresponsible on our part.
So Retree has been going on how long?
So I launched, the idea really was dreamed up, I would say 8 years ago. My dad and I actually are the co-founders. My late father, who's no longer alive. But we kind of dreamed this up as we were planting trees on residential properties. And then we're seeing this huge disconnect. We're like, why, with the technology that we have available to us and the innovative tools like the air spade, why aren't we doing something about this? So I did like a very beginner marketplace 5 years ago. And then 2 years ago, I actually put my money where my mouth is. And I did bring on an investor. And I have a digital marketplace now, a SaaS model marketplace. So
SaaS, you want to explain what that means?
Service as a software. So how the engine marketplaces like eBay and these e-commerce marketplaces are built, they're built as a software, so that we can connect all these dots. The service providers with the sellers and the sellers with the buyers. It's all, we're connecting all those dots. And so it's just a very strong engine.
So it's been up for 2 years. Is it cash flow positive?
It is. Yes. I'm happy to report that we are going to 3x our revenue this year.
Okay. Well,
yes.
How many trees have you moved so far in these 2 years?
So as of, last year, I haven't seen the statistic recently, but as of last year, we moved 950 mature trees.
You don't keep a counter up on your wall for every tree?
I should. Yes, we have a very small team, which I think we're going to get into. As a startup, our funds are limited.
Yeah.
So it's a good. I'm gonna look at that now that you bring it up. But we've been so busy, and people are we're really connecting with the idea.
Yeah.
They really understand, and also my peers are very supportive of it because they're not thinking of it as a threat.
Yeah.
They're thinking of it as how it can benefit their clients, how it can benefit them, how it can benefit the environment. So it's been an awesome, challenging, but amazing experience to open the eyes of the industry to the positive impact that we can all have.
So you've moved around 1,000 trees, or that was last year, you said?
As of last year, 1,000 trees. So I would imagine it's in the 2,000 range at this point.
So your goal can be to save 1 million trees.
So this is interesting that you bring that up. There's a statistic that I read recently that 24 million trees are cut down in the unique mature trees are cut down in the urban forest annually in the United States.
What's an urban forest?
So within cities, residential properties, 24 million trees are removed. Because often, obviously there is a application for tree removal. There is disease. There are trees that can't be saved.
Yeah.
But what if we could preserve just 10% of those 24 million trees?
What if you could preserve just 1 million of those 24 million?
1 million, but 10% is I think a good filter.
So, have you thought about connecting with municipalities or with somebody like Davy Tree to partner?
Yep. I've been having some think tank groups with those larger corporations that have a national presence. So like Save a Tree, Tree Care Company, Brightview, we're all having serious discussions about how we can scale this sooner than later. Because they, unlike myself, have a national presence. So they are able to help me scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's maybe a lot of billionaires out there. So I wonder if there's a billionaire who made their money in real estate in some way or has worked, and somehow with municipalities that might have a personal interest in backing you on this.
So I've reached out to Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jeff Bezos has a fund as well for sustainable companies with sustainable missions.
You know that Jeff Bezos' wife gives away a lot more money than he does.
Yes.
His ex-wife.
Yes, but he has a fund specific to sustainability.
But she gives away a huge amount every year. She's basically trying to give away half of his fortune.
Wow. Well, hey, doesn't hurt, right? The answer is always no. if you don't reach out.
Yeah.
So, I think that I'm slowly but surely getting on the radar. People are recognizing the name, they're recognizing the mission. So I think that will come, and I will continue to reach out to these types of organizations and people who invest in these missions.
How big is your team? You wanted to say something about that.
We have a small team. Actually, I only have one person on payroll, and that's not myself. So we do a lot on a smaller budget. But like I said, we were going to 3x our revenue this year. So I think now we can invest more in a team so that I can also focus on business development, like you're pointing out, with just like the Bright Views and the Save It. Like I need to go out and talk to these people more and develop a plan for scaling the company.
Okay. And so this is one of your businesses. You have the name, you said it was Green Acres?
Yes.
So is that what puts food on the table, or where does that fit in your vision?
Yes. Well, that was the company that I purchased from my father, and I've grown. I've also, I started out in 2010. I bought the company from my dad. I borrowed the money from my dad, and he actually charged me interest on that money, so I would learn. Good lesson. And I grew that business. We were doing $300,000 or $400,000 a year. Now we are doing $3.5 million a year in tree sales. And I've grown that business through relationship building. So I have several farms of my own, but I also have relationships with other growers where I partner with them, because I realize there are growers out there who are really good at growing trees, but they're not the best at customer relations. They're not really good at, business admin, but they're really good at growing trees. So I'm like, I've come together with them to be like the sales, the marketing side of their business. So I have those relationships as well across the country without having to own the land or the trees.
So you have 3 businesses then?
2. Retree and Green Acres.
Well, you have Green Acres where you grow and sell your trees, and then you have this marketing company that sells other people's trees.
But it's the same, within the same umbrella of the business. We also do, in the Green Acre side, we also do custom installations. So we do custom plantings for local contractors, and actually contractors outside of the state that don't necessarily have the expertise, or they don't have the equipment to put these larger trees on their projects, but their customers are, they want those trees, they want it as part of their project, but they don't necessarily have the expertise to do so. So we work with them.
So you have 4 businesses.
Yes. But only 2 names.
2 names, that's fine. Do you have a separate leader for each of those divisions?
No, it's me.
That's got to be hard, juggling 4 different animals.
It is. I work a lot. But I have to say, I really enjoy what I do. So when I go to work on a Saturday, I don't want to say it's not like work, because that's not true. I just have a vision and I have a dream, and I'm working towards it, and I really am enjoying it. But we are building a team. Yeah. I do understand that any business needs that foundation to grow.
So you do $3.5 million with the Green Acres. How much of that is selling someone else's trees?
I would say about 25% of that business is.
Okay. How many trees is $3.5 million?
Oh boy, it's another good question that I don't have the answer to.
I mean, I have no clue, so I'm curious.
Well, as you know, I think we sell very, let's say, very high dollar items. So most of our trees go from between $1,000 and $10,000 a piece. So it's not really the volume that you're thinking. It's higher volume, higher quality trees that take more time to grow, they take more time to harvest, etc. So I think that's why we've been able to maintain such a small team and a small field crew team, because it's not volume.
So that's about 750 trees.
Yep.
I was doing the math while you're talking.
Yep. It's probably 750 to 1,000 trees, I would say.
Yep. How big is that team?
My field crew is seven guys, but they work in the field, and then they work for retree, and then they work in custom installations. So,
man, you guys are like a SWAT team.
I have a really amazing team. My foreman has worked for our family, and Don Jr. Knows him very well since we were little. He's worked for the family for 30 years. So
Don Jr. owns Vidosh North. He's a peer group member of mine. So I've known, that's how we met.
Yep.
Through your brother. Do you guys have some like competition with each other?
Not in business. We are very supportive of each other. Don has taught me a lot, and I think I've taught him quite a bit about my part of the industry. But I think I mentioned to you the last time I saw you, and I met you in person at the MNLA trade show, that I have seen my brother's personal life and business transform since being part of a peer group. So he and you inspired me to get also my own professional coach. I think I had approached you about starting a peer group for our sector of the industry. Be like, oh no, and I respect that.
Try to stay focused.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to be like me with four businesses, but anyways.
Well, but you're all tree. I mean, and I'm all,
Yeah.
I'm also focused, but I do different things in my focus. I'm sure the synergy is exciting for your team. I bet they're very excited by it.
I have built a team of people that are very, very passionate about what we do. So that makes all the difference, because they feel passion and they feel purpose. And I've also implemented this bonus pool program that you're very familiar with, and Don introduced me to. So between the passion and the feeling of purpose, they also have this other incentive to make decisions in the best interest of the company and be part of them. I have seen, and I just implemented it this year, but I've seen like an incredible transformation in my team.
Tell me.
Just how they work. They work smarter. They think like an owner. And then it's also raised their level of passion and purpose for what we're doing. Besides, the impact that we're making on the environment every day by preserving each and every one of these trees, they're seeing the business, they're seeing, their contribution to the business growth. And so it's been a fantastic year, and Don has walked me through it and guided me through this. So there's a good example of Don being a supportive twin brother. I don't know if you know we're twins.
You probably told me.
Yeah.
You guys are. Is that fraternal twins, or how does that work?
Yes, we can't be identical. Boy, girls, twins can't be identical.
Right. I knew that.
So, yeah. So, we're very, we support each other. And Don does buy trees from me when he has, the right project and the right application. We do some business together as well. So
let's go back to this bonus program, this profit sharing program. You've seen them transform. Did your bottom line transform, or did? And I know it's brand new, so you can't really expect that right away. But, or is the transformation more just about what you see them, their attitude every day?
I would say it's a combination of both. Of course, we've seen growth. Retree again is 3xing its revenue this year, and Green Acres is I think on going to have about 25 to 30% growth this year. So I do attribute it to that for sure, and their attitude when they come here every day. It's full of passion, purpose, and everyone wants the entire team to be more successful. It's more of a team effort mentality rather than my division, because we just talked about it. There's several divisions here, so now everyone's working together for the same goal.
Yeah, some companies give away money, donate to nonprofits to help their community or whatever charity they're focused on. And that's sort of built into your business. I mean, Retree is not a charity, but really it's your business is in a way this way of giving back.
Yes. And that brings me to, I think it's something that I shared with you about our business model is very cyclical, where I think the tree life cycle, at least from when I can remember, has been very linear. So we plant a tree, it outgrows its space, it's in the way, we cut it down, we replace it with a new tree. And then, or same thing in commercial properties. We plant a tree, it's there for 9 years, we cut it down, we replace it with another one. So that's a very wasteful cycle and a waste of a resource. So this business model, this opportunity, creates an endless cycle of giving back. Not only for our industry, but for the property owner. So, for example, if a commercial property, which we can get into a little more in depth, this program that I've also created for commercial property owners, where the tree is harvested, we plant a new tree in its place. The tree care professionals in our industry then take care of that tree for the next 9 or 10 years. Again, it requires a service to harvest that tree and replant a new tree, and the cycle never ends for our industry on these commercial properties.
So why when you say commercial property, what do you mean? So
I created a program recently. Let's start from when I created Retree. I created it specifically for residential property owners, because that's where we were working. We were seeing this wasteful cycle on residential properties. But then I realized, while standing in the middle of a Costco parking lot one day, that there were about 100 8 to 10 inch Princeton Century ginkgo trees that were going to eventually be cut down. Mm-hmm. But I realized how much value there was in that parking lot. Mm. And then I saw the cycle. I saw the cycle before my eyes of harvesting the trees, replacing the trees, taking care of the trees, much like an urban nursery.
Mm. That's clever.
Because all of that green space is it's really being wasted, in my opinion. And commercial properties owners are looking at these green spaces, and these trees that they have to plant like a nuisance, rather than their horticultural equity or their tree asset portfolios. So I'm transforming the way that they think and realize these trees are more of a value, have more value than they are a nuisance, because they've been very expensive for them.
What kind of ROI, or if any, can they expect over a 10-year period?
So I have a lot of graphs on that, and I've presented all that to commercial property owners. It depends on what your tree asset portfolio consists of, right? Because different species command a different value. But I'll give you an example, because we did proof of concept commercial tree revenue program this spring in Brighton, Michigan. We harvested 75 8 to 10 inch ginkgo trees, and we shipped them to the Hamptons. We replaced all those trees, 75 total, and I handed the property owner a check for $75,000. So there is, even if the property owner broke even if I didn't give them a check for anything, there is still value in that, because I replaced all the trees. They didn't have to pay someone to cut them down. They didn't have to pay someone to replace them. They just broke even. They still have an ROI.
Yeah.
But
So
these guys,
should the property owner get those trees insured?
absolutely. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but if that's your tree asset portfolio, I would be insuring that. If you're taking care of those trees. But once these commercial property owners realize that there's value there, you believe me, they're going to be protecting them. They're going to be taking care of them, and people are going to realize this. So,
and you'll be selling them insurance.
Yeah, maybe. Or somebody in the industry will be selling them insurance.
And it's going to be you.
So it just brings me to the point where everybody in our industry can benefit from this endless cycle of giving back. Not just the tree care for professionals, but the contractors who plant trees, the contractors who harvest trees. It's a cycle that we can all be part of.
So do you have another division that I should be asking you about?
No. That's what is that, company number 5 or division number 5.
And that one just got going, this commercial nursery.
Yeah. Commercial tree revenue program is what I call it.
Okay.
But honestly, and obviously I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I do think that program is the most scalable part of either of my businesses.
How come? Because of the greed factor? What's in it for me?
Just the volume, the space. Think about all the green space there is on commercial properties in the United States, in the world. I mean, I just in my, Oakland County where we are, there's so much underutilized green space.
Yeah. I know in cities there's this concept of a food desert where grocery stores are too far apart, and some are trying to build little mini farms in between to teach farming and connect people to the land and solve that problem to some extent. So what you're doing, it kind of reminds me of what you're doing is, it's not really related, but it just reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Similar concept, just using these underutilized space to grow food, to grow trees. It just makes a lot of sense.
God, how do you contain yourself? Because I can imagine you with these ideas, it's like you probably just want to be there now, and you probably want to work every single waking minute just to move all these pieces forward. How do you not get, I don't know if frustrated is the right word, but how do you keep it all channeled and in check.
You're right. I'm like super excited to see that transformation and be there. But I also understand that it's going to take time to do this in a very responsible way.
Mm.
So I'd rather not do this at all if it wasn't going to be done responsibly with certified contractors to do the work within the network. That's what's most important to me. So I try to stay very focused on that. How do I build something with integrity?
So you have the patience of a redwood.
I get real excited, believe me, but then I have to rein it in a little bit. But I still paint the picture for everyone. Like, this is how I envision winning success in the future.
Yeah.
And you paint that picture so that the industry gets excited about it. Like, I want to be part of that. I want to get on that train. I want to go in that direction.
I really think you should try to, I mean, you are doing this, but I'm just going to support it. I think you should get in front of as many movers and shakers that can influence this as possible, because in total, it's such a compelling vision, and it's a unique vision. So it's unique and compelling, and very apropos to the zeitgeist, what's being talked about in the world today.
Yep. I didn't think that we were quite ready to do that, but I have a feeling now with confidence that we were ready to present to those types of individuals. Yeah. We have proof of concept. We have some experience. We've been through quite a bit of challenges along the way, and I feel I have a confidence now. But I don't think we were ready, let's say 12 months ago, to present our vision and with confidence. So
yeah, well, I'm right. I mean, it's so new, and you don't want to be presenting something that they can't actually grab onto and support, right? It's got to be at a certain level.
Well, and also, if they get excited and they want to be part of it, I have to be ready for that. I have got to be ready to scale. I have to be ready, mentally.
Yeah, well, you better sleep one less hour a day and you'll get it all done.
Yep. So it's been a fun journey.
So who are your peers? Like we joked about me starting a peer group, and I've been asked by the arbor industry to do that, but I don't think that's what I don't think that's what we're talking about here. Who are your peers? I mean, like Lisa Fiore and what they're doing. I can imagine.
She's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah. So tell the audience what she does. I've actually had her on here.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I just spoke with her last week. When I was starting to think about developing this marketplace, she had already been in the landscape hub development process for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So she came to visit me here in Michigan, and she gave me the extra nudge to follow my dream, follow my idea and my vision, but also to not get so hung up on how I envisioned it when I first built the marketplace, because the market will kind of tell you, and it will help you develop it along the way. So don't get so attached to any form of idea that you think it's going to be.
Yeah.
So she has mentored me along the way. We're both obviously very busy. being innovators in this space, it's a lot of work. And so we check in with each other a couple times a year.
So her company, Landscape Hub, is a digital marketplace for all trees and plants, right?
Yes. So it's very similar vehicle. It's connecting the dots. It's providing a space where you can see what inventory is out there, and it connects you with those suppliers across the country, which saves time, saves money, and she's putting all of those pieces that I think have been very inhibiting for us to be efficient in that space. She's putting it all in a digital marketplace. So
I think she was very wise to tell you, and I think everybody listening has done this as well, or should, be open to doing it, which is just to be willing to pivot. I think all great companies, all great entrepreneurs are doing pivots, multiple pivots. You want to be careful not to pivot away from where the success is, but not getting stuck on that initial idea. I mean, I do the same in my business, and I've pivoted a few big times. I think that's really the hallmark of success is not a straight line, right? Nobody has a success out the gate, straight line. By definition, you've got to be willing to pivot. Einstein said the shortest distance between 2 points is not a straight line. So he must have been an entrepreneur at heart. Especially in the green industry. I think that our industry, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity to innovate, and especially the younger generation, attracting the younger generation to our industry. We have so much opportunity for that. It's not just retree. There's so many other areas to make transformations in. So I encourage always everyone of my peers to open their mind to sharing their ideas and thoughts and just going for it. It's been a really fun journey, like I said before. Are there other companies out there like Lisa's that are inspiring for you? Who else do you look out there for inspiration? Gosh. I have several other peers in the industry that I talk to. For example, Carrie G, who is sixth generation on a local farm here, who has taught me so much about just plants and trees and the industry, the grower side of the industry. She's kind of taken me under her wing. And also just inspired me also to stay real humble along the journey. So I'm sure there's several other people that really inspire me, but I can't think of them right now. I should have emailed you ahead of time, huh? Say, that's good. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll add that to my question. You should. Prep. So tell us what you see down the road. Where are you going to be in 5 years? Where's this multi-pronged business model going to be, and where are you going to be in 5 years? I hope that in 5 years, I hope that we have a solid network of service providers across the country, and potentially that is a more of like a partnership in certain regions of the country where this particular partner oversees the region and the independent contractors doing the work, so that we can maintain the most quality control of our work. So I hope that this opportunity exists
for every commercial and residential property in the United States in 5 years. That would be my goal.
There may be grants out there available to you right now to support you. Have you looked into that?
We have. That's hard. That's a hard one to get, especially in our space. With it does, because we have a sustainable business model. The digital space and that we've looked into it, but I haven't found any that fit our model.
Well, I have a friend who's a professional grant writer. Once you get to that point.
Yeah.
So I think in 5 years, you're going to be regularly presenting and speaking with billionaires and people who control billion-dollar budgets in their commercial and municipal space.
I hope you're right. I say this every time I'm talking to my peers, that I want to live in a world where people, they respect and value the trees that also give us life and provide a lot of benefits for this planet. I want to live in a world where you go to a parking lot and you notice that the value of these trees and they're being taken care of.
Yeah.
This will be transformative, it will a shift in consciousness. That's what I'm hoping for.
There's so much promotion on stopping the cutting down of the rainforest. And I know that's critical. And then you mentioned that we cut down, what did you say, 25 million trees a year in cityscapes? Urban areas?
Urban.
But let me ask you a practical question. Let's say all the cities said, okay, we're willing to replant them. How many could you actually take and feasibly replant? Is there enough space for them?
Absolutely. I don't, especially because it's not going to be 24 million trees that we're going to move. It's, there certain trees do need to be removed. Not every tree qualifies to be moved. Some are too big, right? And there's parks. What about the parks, the cityscapes? There's a place for all the trees and the humans on this planet to have a home. Everyone deserves a home, in my opinion.
Maybe Elon Musk can take some to Mars when he leaves.
Go. I don't know if the environment would be conducive. I don't know if there's any oxygen up there.
No, there's not.
Yeah, I don't think that would work.
Hey,
he might be able to figure out a way.
Yeah. Well, in his domes, underneath his domes, right? They'll need trees.
Yeah. So,
Dennise, any final words?
I think I'd like to share just a moment that I realized that this digital marketplace and is so much more than just saving the trees. I do believe that this experience, this opportunity to reconnect with the trees as property owners, is going to change the world in a very positive way. It's going to potentially heal the disconnect that we have between each other and also with the natural world, which is very apparent, especially with current events. So I realized this 6 months ago that, my purpose and my mission has so much more to do with healing this disconnect. So,
wow, it's a big dream.
Mm-hmm.
All the power to you. We for our sake, we wish you luck.
Yeah, and I invite all my peers to come and be part of this awesome transformation. I'm building this marketplace for all of us to be a part of. So,
Dennise, thank you for your time.
Thank you.